So what we were discussing in the last lecture? Anyone? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
So what we were discussing in the last lecture?
Sir, evolution of power system.
Okay, we have discussed, I think, deregulation.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Today we will discuss the power system, protection system and its attributes. So if you see that, let us suppose that we have a system. In this system, we have the generator. Then we have the transmission line, and we are protecting the transmission line. And in the transmission line, we have the current transformer CT, and this connection is of PT. This we have the relay, and this is the circuit breaker. Now, this is actually the basic idea of any protection system. That is what the CT and PT will do. CT and PT will get the current and the voltage signals and give it to relay, and relay will trip the circuit breaker depending upon the logic of that relay. Now, this is the basic protection circuit. Now, let us consider this relay as a black box. Instead of going into the detail of what the relay is, let us consider it as a black box having the current and the voltage at the input, and output in the form of normally open contacts. These are normally open contacts. Input is the CT, current from CT, voltage from PT, and the output is actually the normally open contacts. So this output, you can say it is wired. You can say that it is wired in the trip circuit of the circuit breaker to complete the circuit that we can discuss. So relay has another user settable input, which is also known as the setting of the relay. The main function of the relay is to carry out the processing of the information provided by the CT and the PT in accordance to the predetermined logic. So what the relay will do from the information which is coming from CT and PT, and it will process the information in accordance to some predetermined logic to arrive it at some value, and then it compares the value with the setting. That is, it compares the value with the setting of the relay to trip or the no trip. To trip or the no trip. So this is the main function of the relay. This is actually the conceptual diagram of the relay. It will take the current and the voltage from CT and PT and process that information, and with some predetermined logic, it arrived at some value and compared that that value with the setting, and then it will give the decision whether to trip or the not trip depending upon the setting of the relay. Now, there are certain terminologies which you should take into consideration while designing any protective circuit. So first one is the sensitivity. So what is sensitivity? Anyone? What is sensitivity? What do you mean by sensitivity? What do you mean by sensitivity? Anyone? Anyone, what do you mean by sensitivity?
Sir, ability to sense.
Okay. It means that the protective system must be alive to the presence of small fault current. It must be alive to the presence of small fault current. Now the second one is the selectivity. What do you mean by selectivity? Anyone?
Sir, it should be able to decide if this fault current is a signal to trip the circuit breaker.
Okay, that's okay. Actually, it must be selective. Let us suppose that we have this transmission line is there. And let us suppose that fault occurs in the transmission line, then the protective system should be such that it will isolate that part only so that this cannot be affected. So it must be selective in judging that which is faulty so that that part can be isolated. Now, next is the speed. So what is speed? Anyone?
Sir,
One point is there in the protective system. One point is there that if the system fault is there in the system, so if the longer be the fault, greater be the damage to the system. Longer be the fault, greater be the damage to the system, and higher be the possibility of the system to lose the stability. Higher be the possibility of the system to lose the stability. So it must be, speed must be very high. So, however, we have a relationship between speed and the accuracy. That is, these are actually the inverse in relationship. Speed and the accuracy. It means that if the speed is very high, then the accuracy would be low in that very case. This is due to the fact that high speed systems has very less amount of information than the slow speed system. So it has very less information. So it is the responsibility of the protection engineer to strike the balance between the speed and the accuracy. Is it okay? Are you able to get my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, next is the reliability and the dependability. So what do you mean by reliability?
Sir, it should ensure the continuous supply.
Yeah. So it should ensure the reliable or the continuous supply. And in case of reliability, good judgment plays a very important role. Good judgment of the power engineer about the setting of the relay and all that. It plays a very important part in increasing the reliability of the protective system. And it is also found that simple systems are more reliable. If you see, simple systems are more reliable because as you are going as we are increasing the complexity of the system, when the complexity of the system increases, large number of relays would be there, then the system would not be simple. So we have the increased complexity of the system. So we have this simple systems which are only more reliable as compared to the other systems. Now, next is one more point is that if the information, let us suppose that we have the information which is available locally. We have the local information. 2 points are there. One is the dependability of the information faraway at the faraway places, and one is the locally available information. So locally available information. Now the system which is having the locally available information for the fault detection and the operation, these are more reliable. These are more reliable as compared to the system which are dependent on the system at the remote end. So if they are dependent on the system at the remote end, so they are less reliable as compared to the system in which the information is available locally. So however, you can say that the protection engineer can strike a balance between this reliability, and it should make the system simple. However, as the complexity of the system increases, as we have more and more renewable energy integration and deregulation in the system, the complexity increases. So it's the job of the protection engineer. So we have to ensure the reliability of the system. One more point is there. One protection is also there, that is known as the backup protection. So backup protection can also, backup protection means this is related to the reliability. Backup protection, it will increase the reliability. Backup protection will increase the, it will increase the reliability. Now, what is the backup protection? Well, what the backup protection will do, we can discuss that in detail. I will give you a small idea of that what is the backup protection. Now, let us suppose that we have some protection system is there. Let us suppose that we have a generator, and then we have the transmission line. And let us suppose that this is having this protection system, and one backup protection is also provided for the whole of the system. Now, this system is for this transmission line only, and suppose this backup protection for the whole of the system. It means, let's suppose that fault occurs within the system and this will not operate. This is not operative. Then after some time, the backup system will operate and it will isolate the faulty part of the system. So backup protection increases the reliability of the system. So when you read the different type of protection systems, then you will have the backup, you will read about the backup protection of the system. Now, that is we have the two types of protection. One is the primary protection, which is the main protection, and if the primary protection fails, then backup protection is provided so that in case the primary protection is failed. Now we will discuss about second about the current transformers and the voltage transformers. So have you read about the current transformers and voltage transformers in your I think measurement? पढ़ा है आप लोगों ने? Hello?
Yes, sir, a little bit.
अच्छा, current transformer. Now the standard ratings for which the current transformer in the protection circuit is used, these are 5 ampere and 1 ampere. So these are actually the standard ratings of the secondary for which these are current transformers are available in the market. What it does, because of the standard ratings, it frees the relay engineer from the actual value of the primary current, because we have the standard rating of the secondary current in this case. Now, what's the job of this current transformer? The job of this first job of the current transformer is to step down the current to such a level, is to step down the current to such a level that it can be handled by, it can be easily handled by the relay current coil. Now, the second job of this current transformer, it isolates the high voltage circuitry, which is of the suppose transmission line, with the low voltage circuitry, that is we have here transmission line, and the low voltage circuitry, that is measurement. It isolates. So second job of this is to isolate the high voltage circuitry with the low voltage circuitry. So this is the main function of the current transformers. Let us take the diagram of this current transformers so that so in this case, you have the source, then you have the transformer, and then you have the transmission line. And here we have the CT. In this case, the ratio of CT is 1000/5. That I already told you. The standard ratings for which the CT is used is 1 ampere and the 5 ampere, which are available in the market. Now, these are actually the standard ratings. And what it does, here we have the current of 1000 ampere. It is very much large. So it will reduce the current to 5 ampere, which is used for the protection circuit. So we will have the relay here. So this is the job of the this current transformer. Now, however, ideally, if you see in an ideal transformer, there are no losses. However, there are some losses in case of current transformer. So anyone, what are the different errors in the current transformer? Anyone has anyone? What are different errors in the current transformer? First is the which error? हाँ बताओ. Ratio error and the phase angle error. You have read this in the measurement. There are different errors in the transformers. One is the ratio error and phase angle error. So because of that, you cannot have the ideal current transformers. However, if you see the application of this transformer, this current transformer, it can be for the protection circuit and for the measurement circuit. We can use for this protection and we can use it for the measurement circuit. So what's the difference between the CT, which is used for the protection, and the measurement? Anyone? Any one of you?
So repeat.
What's the difference between the CT, which is used for the protection, and the measurement? We have the CT, which is used for the protection also and measurement also. So what's the difference between that?
Sir, for protection, it should be very sensitive.
Not sensitive. You can say that in the protection circuit, what's the requirement of the protection circuit? The requirement of the protection circuit is that it will faithfully gives us the current, whatever be the current, because that's the protection system. That's for that it is only designed. So it will faithfully gives us the reproduce the largest fault current, whatever be the largest fault current, it will be faithfully reproduced. Mute your mic, please. And second job, first one is the protection CT. So it will faithfully reproduce the fault current, largest fault current, because it is the main job of this is to do that only. So it will faithfully reproduce the largest fault current. And second one is the measurement CT. So what's the property of the measurement CT? It will, when the fault current increases, let us suppose when the current increases, and after a predetermined value, it will saturate. It will saturate. Why it will saturate? It will saturate to save the instrument from the circuit connected to the secondary, to save the instrument connected to secondary. So we have the two types of CTs. One is the protection CT and other is the measurement CT. The job of the protection CT is to faithfully reproduce the current, whatever be the current. If it is fault current, that's okay, because its job is to do the same. And second one is the measurement CT. The measurement CT will saturate when the current increases after some value to save the instrument. Now, coming to the BH curve of these two types of CTs. So if you see, we have the BH curve of this. We have the BH curve. Now, this protective CT will operate at this point and the measurement CT will operate at this point. It means operating at this point means that with the increase in the excitation, or you can say that with the increase in the current, it will faithfully produce the flux, or you can say it will faithfully, it will not saturate. And if you see, take the case of the measurement CT, its operating point is here. And if the current is increased beyond that particular point, it will saturate and protect the equipment. Now, this is the BH curve, and this is the secondary current versus the, that is primary current versus the secondary current. In this case, you will see that in case of the protective CT, the output is proportional to the input. That is, we have the primary and secondary. So these are proportional. It will reproduce because it is protective circuit. And second one is the metering CT. Metering CT will saturate because after a particular value of the primary current, the value of the secondary current will increase. So this is about the this different types of CTs that are used. Now, second is the voltage transformer. So as you know, we are using the CTs in series, CTs current transformers. These are used in the series, and second one is the potential transformer or the voltage transformer. So these are used in the parallels. Now, if you take the case of a CT, the standard rating of CT is like we have CT, this PTs, like we have the CTs. The standard rating was 1 ampere and 5 ampere. Now we have the PTs. Now the standard ratings for the PTs is 110 volt, which is available in the market, and it is line to line. So it is the secondary standard rating for which the PTs are available. So what's the main job of this PT? Its job is to step down the high voltage to such a level for the railing system to operate. So that the standard is used for standardizing the system. It is a standardized system that we have the secondary this as what is the primary. For designing purposes, it is used for that. However, like you have the CTs, they have the errors, ratio and phase angle errors similar with that of the PT. They have the ratio and the phase angle error. Now, next is the circuit breaker. This is the basic idea. I'm giving you the basic idea. So this is the basic schematic of the circuit breaker. Now, what is the circuit breaker? It is actually the electrically operated switch. It is electrically operated switch which is capable of safely making and breaking the short circuit current. Okay. So this circuit breaker. This is actually the circuit breaker. This circuit breaker is operated by the output of the relay. This is the output of the relay. So this circuit breaker is actually operated by that. Now, when the circuit breaker is in the closed condition, it has this, you can say the contacts are held closely. That is, normally closed contacts are there, and these are held closely by the tension of this spring. So it has the normally closed contacts. So the output is given by the relay, and then when this circuit breaker, it has actually the normally closed contacts. Now you can say that this is actually the trip coil of the circuit breaker. Now the circuit breaker is actually held close in the closed position by the force of the spring. It is held in the closed position by the force of the spring, and energy is stored in the spring during the closing operation. In order to trip the circuit breaker, it must be in order to trip the circuit breaker, it is necessary to release the latch either manually or by you can say energizing this trip coil of the circuit breaker. Now the trip battery which is used in this circuit breaker is actually, it supplies the energy for to the trip coil for its operation. And the relay coil, if you see that this trip coil, it is wired in series with this it is wired in the series with the trip battery, and we have the relay trip contact. These are normally open. So these are all in the series. We have the trip battery, trip coil, and the relay trip contact. Relay trip contacts, these are actually normally open. These are normally open. Now what happens, suppose that relay gives the trip circuit. When the relay gives the trip circuit, then now the relay trip contact which were normally open, they are closed, and after that the circuit is complete, and these contacts, it energizes the trip coil, and as a result this will be normally closed contact will be released, and it becomes the open contact. So this is the schematic of the circuit breaker. The details of the circuit breaker we can the different details of circuit breaker we can discuss in the subsequent lectures. Now next is the organization of the protection system. So next is the organization of the protection. Now, if you see that the protection system is organized in a very logical fashion, it is organized in a very logical fashion. Now, what's the idea of this organization of protection? The idea is that the main idea is to provide the ring around each element of the protection system. That is, let us suppose that we have a generator. Now, the organization of the protection system is such that the ring of the protection is provided around each of the equipment which is there. That is generator. This is the generator protection ring. Then we have the bus bar protection ring. Then we have the transformer, like that. So the main idea is to provide the ring of security for each element of power system. And let us suppose that if there is a fault within that ring, there is the fault within that particular ring, then only associated relays with and circuit breakers will trip. Only associated relays and circuit breakers will trip. So only within that ring the relays and circuit breaker will trip to remove the faulty part from the that is rest of the power system. And this ring of security, you can say that this ring of security is known as the zone of the protection. This ring of security is known as the zone of protection. Now, if you see, here we have a protection system for the transformer. And we will read whenever we read about this transformer protection, we are using the differential protection in the transformer on the primary and the secondary side. So in this case, you will have this is known as the zone of the protection. This whole ring is known as the zone of the protection, and you can say that the ideal protection system should be such that it would isolate the fault, it would detect the fault within that zone only, inside the zone. It will not detect the faults which are outside the zone. Now, the faults which are inside the zone, these are known as the internal faults. These are known as the internal faults. And the faults which are outside the zone, these are known as the external faults. If you see that this is a protection system for the transformer only that we have discussed here. So inside the zone, we have the internal faults, and outside the zone, we have the external faults, and external faults are also known as the through faults. One more terminology is used for that. External faults, these are also known as the through faults. Now, if you ideally, if you look at the relay, the protection system must operate. If you look at the relay, then the protection system must operate within that zone, and it would restrain operating outside the zone. That it will operate within that particular zone. However, it will restrain operating outside the this zone. And the point from the relay location, let us suppose that we have the system let us suppose that we have the system, and here we have the protective system. Let us suppose the relay location is here. So the farthest point from the relay location, which is still inside the zone, is known as the reach point. That is, let us suppose that we have the relay here, and it will protect the system within that particular zone. It will protect the system within the particular zone. And the farthest point, this is the farthest point. So this is the relay. So this is the farthest point from the relay location, which is still inside the zone, which is known as the reach point. It is known as the reach point. So farthest point from the relay location. So as we have discussed, every power system component has the zone of the protection, and the farthest point from the relay location to that particular zone, which is known as the reach point, and distance between the relay, this distance between the relay to the reach point, this is the relay. Here we have the relay, and here we have the reach point. I can draw it again. Here we have relay, and here we have the reach point. So the distance between the relay and the reach point, it is known as the reach of the relay. It is known as the reach of the relay. So this is a very important point, that what is the reach point. Reach point, we have if you see that the protection system is organized in a very logical fashion. If you see every protective system, it has the zone of the protection, and that zone of the farthest point from that relay to the point where the protection system is there, then it is known as the reach point. And the farthest distance between the relay location to the reach point is known as the reach of the relay. So you must have these definitions in your mind. Now, one more point is there, that if you see that if we have the protection system, however, there is not so marked area of the protection system. Let's suppose that we have the generator protection, and after that, suppose we have the bus bar or the transformer protection. So there is not a crisp boundary between the two protective systems. Like if you see that there is some overlapping within these two protective systems. This is bus bar and this is the generator. So there is some overlapping area between these two. It means that the boundary between the two systems which are protected, these are not crisp. These are not crisp. And you can say that it is fuzzy. Fuzzy means that it is not crisp. It is not deterministic. So you can say that it is fuzzy because that area will keep on contracting and expanding. That area will keep on contracting and expanding. Now, why this contracting and expanding? This is due to the fact that the fault depends upon the different factors. Like we have the overcurrent fault. In the overcurrent fault, it depends upon the type of the fault and the impedance. It depends upon the type of the fault and the impedance. So if let us suppose the type of fault is different, then the area in that case would be different. So that area, you can say, it is not crisp, it is actually fuzzy, it keeps on expanding and contracting, and this is due to the certain factors. And one more factor is there, that is what relay principle we can use. Now it is generally said that the differential relay that we have used in the transformer, that we discussed in the protection of transformers, it gives the more crisply carved out zone than the overcurrent or the distance protection. So, and also directional relay is there, it creates a zone of infinite reach that we can discuss in the subsequent lectures. Now, next we will come to the what are the different zones of protection. as we have discussed, that these are different zones of protection of the power system. We have the generator zone, then we have the bus zone, transformer zone, then we have again bus bar zone, transmission line zone. Then some overlapping is there that we have discussed, that overlapping is there always in the two zones because they contract or expand. Then we have the transformer zone, then bus zone, and then again we have the generator zone. So these are actually the zones of the protection, and the relay will operate within that zone of protection. Now, one point for the relay engineer, for the protection engineer, is that if the fault takes place within that overlap zone, if the fault occurs in the overlap zone, then we have the minimum number of circuit breakers will trip. So when the fault takes place, then the minimum number of circuit breakers will trip, which will actually prevent the major disruption, or you can say the disruption in the system. So each zone can be implemented, that is the protection in each zone can be implemented by different protection schemes. Protection in each zone can be implemented by the different protection schemes. Like in the generator, we are using the different protection scheme, and then the bus bar protection is different. We are using differential in that, and transformer we are using differential. Then in this bus zone we are using differential. In transformer line protection we are using the distance protection. So different type of protection schemes can be used in the different zones, and it is required that within the overlap zone there should be a minimum number of circuit breakers which can trip in that particular overlap zone. Now these are the zones of the protection.